Good morning and welcome to the Shiro Coffee Chat. Today, we're talking about the cost of what we share as veterans. And my guest is here to give us the tea on what we need to know around decisions that mess with our benefit, resolutions in Illinois, and becoming an advocate, not for yourself, but for others too. So, what I want you to do is stick around and check us out.
Air assault. Hello, friends, and welcome to Shiro Coffee Chat. We hope you've had a great week, and thank you for joining us today. We've got a full cup ahead, so grab your Shiro coffee, because we're taking a spin around the Shiro resource table. Plus, we've got your chat, tip, and guest of the week. Let's give a big shout out to our host, Melissa Farmer-Hill, Army Combat Veteran, host of Shiro Coffee Chat, and founder of the Shiro Coffee Club, where we keep the world caffeinated and women veterans celebrated. And now, reporting for duty and ready to lead the conversation, Melissa Farmer-Hill.
Aerosol! Good morning, friends. I am Melissa Farmer-Hill, retired Army combat veteran, author of Army Strong Women, and founder of the Shiro Coffee Club, where I amplify the voices of women veterans and women who show up as champions in everyday life. And I do this through coffee, tea, and the conversations that we lead right here on Shiro Coffee Chat. Thank you so much for joining me. And we're back. 2 weeks you had some reruns. Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. But they were good. They were good reruns. Okay, previously aired is the more proper term for it. But we had previously aired videos, but today we are live and we are talking about Women in Leadership series. And of course, as you guys know, in this series, I just want to get into topics about real leadership, how women lead. Let's talk about how we show up, how we handle pressure. And today, my guest is going to talk about a topic you may not hear everywhere, but you need to hear it. And today, it's about the cost of what we share. Yes, you guys. And let me introduce my guest right now. Give her flowers. She is no stranger to the Shiro Coffee Chat. Her name is Beverly Fitch, and she is a Chicago native, born and raised in the suburb of Hazel Crest, Illinois. She enlisted in the Army Reserve in 1990, attended basic training at Fort Dix, New Jersey. They're closed now, but shout out to Fort Dix. I remember Fort Dix. And advanced individual training from Fort Benjamin Harrison, Indiana, where she earned the MOS of 75 Charlie. All right. Shout out to 75 Charlies, 42 Alphas, you know, that big old conversion. And the 75 Charlie was a personnel service management. Now, soon after completing her training, she was deployed to Fort Gordon, Georgia, where she was attached to Charlie Company 551st Signal Battalion in support of Operation Desert Storm, Desert Shield. During this time, she worked at the transition point, out processing soldiers for retirement. She later volunteered for an assignment in Saudi Arabia, where she served with the 22nd Support Command and Strength Management. In 1995, she was assigned to the 825th AG Company replacement in Marion, Illinois, before traveling to Fort Benning, Georgia, where she was assigned to 1st Battalion, 11th Infantry Regiment. There, she worked at the mobilization site in support of Operation Determined Effort and Operation Joint Endeavor. 2 years later, she was selected for the AGR program as a recruiter, earning the MOS of 79 Romeo. That's a very important MOS in the U.S., in the military, just across all services. 79 Romeo. She was assigned to the United States Army Recruiting Command, Chicago Recruiting Battalion, and during her 12-and-a-half-year career, she served in Libertyville, Glenview, and Chicago, Illinois. She retired from the Army Reserve in June of 2021. Her military awards include Army Accommodation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Southwest Asia Service Medal with a Bronze Star, Army Service Ribbon, and Gold Recruiting Badge. Today, Beverly serves at the Hines VA in Hines, Illinois, as a voluntary specialist for the Center for Development and Civic Engagement. In this role, she recruits, that's a 79 Romeo. She recruits and onboards volunteers and coordinates days of service for schools, civic groups, veteran service, organizations, and corporations. In 2018, during the bicentennial of the state of Illinois, Beverly was selected as one of the Bicentennial Honor 200 awardees. You can only get that once in a lifetime. Awardees recognized for her contributions that uplifts, benefits, and inspires her community and fellow veterans, truly exemplifying selfless service, courage, and compassion. Beverly continues to make history as the first female to serve as commander of her American Legion post and the first female to serve as the 3rd District Senior Vice Commander for the state of Illinois, where she helped move her district from second to last place to 3rd place. She is also a past adjutant and veteran service officer for her Veterans of Foreign Wars post, a member of the National Women Veterans United, Disabled American Veterans, and AMVETS. Now, what's not being said here is just how amazing of a person that Beverly truly is. She is also one of, I know you guys have heard me talk about legacy and how we have 4 of us. There are 4 ambassadors who are legacy. These are people that just say, raise their hands. They raise their hand and say, yeah, sure, I'll get on a coffee bag. And if you don't see her, she's back here on our new 2026 coffee bags in dark roast and medium roast. There, she is definitely doing great things, not only for veterans, but I would say humanity at large. I truly, truly believe that. And she's building a legacy. She's definitely building a legacy. So friends, help me welcome. This is my commander too, because I am a member of the American Legion. So help me welcome to Shiro Coffee Chat once again, my commander of the Verna L. Jones American Legion Post 478, Miss Beverly Fitch. You know what, Bev?
What?
I love that bio. And I really like it for the audience because, you know, if people are watching, sometimes they can relate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a 79 Charlie. I was a recruiter. I was in Saudi Arabia. So you know what? I need to start. You've just started something. I want all the accolades. I want to give all the credit where credit is due because people can relate. And it's really all about relating. But thank you again for just being who you are. And
thank you for having me.
And of course, coming on the show. I appreciate you. I love that you always make yourself available. I thank you for our years of friendship. I thank you for, you know, being one of the first to say, yeah, I'll be on the coffee bag. So I got your coffee bag back there in the background. Like I said, dark and medium roast. You can get Beverly's coffee bag. But that's not what we're here to talk about today.
I got my tea. I got my Shiro cup.
Hey, we're gonna talk about it today because, like I said, it might be like a conversation that you don't really hear all the time, but it's some things that need to be said. So today we're talking about the cost of what we share. And I want you to just go into talking about social media. How did you start connecting those dots, and give us your thoughts on that?
Well, what happened was, when we were growing up, in our community, so to speak, and maybe others, we don't discuss what happens in our house, right? We don't talk
Right.
about pay. We don't talk about politics.
Right.
So one of the things that I saw on social media, there are a number of veteran groups, right, that talk about how to get your benefits increased, how to get your benefits starting. And there are a lot of them that have done really well and have helped out thousands of veterans, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
However, on top of that, I see people posting things like, oh, I got my 100%. Like getting a disability check is about getting a bag, and it's not, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that sometimes putting that information out there makes us vulnerable, not so much to the federal government because they already know what they're dealing with,
Right.
but to friends, neighbors, other family members, maybe somebody that you're in a relationship with. And what has done is it has
You
set some
pause, but
veterans up
okay. Mm-hmm.
to get benefits taken away. Case in point, you could have a married couple, they're getting a divorce, and you have a disgruntled spouse, and now they want to call the VA and said you lied about all your benefits.
Mm.
We have to prove, they just don't
Right.
write us a check. We have to have
Right.
evidence that substantiates that. Guess what? The VA is taking this money from some of our veterans without even warning them first. And that's not
Oh
a good
my.
thing. And they're saying that somebody reported them. Okay. So I know that there's going to be a resolution going before the Department of Illinois for one of the veteran service organizations that says
Mm-hmm.
that anytime VA is going to consider taking away someone's benefits because of something that they heard, hearsay, right?
That's
Something
yeah.
that they heard, that they give the veteran time to rebut, not make it reactive, but get ahead of it, get in front of it before it even happens. And they want to further say that they want it to be ratted out the person
Yeah.
who
Who
told on this.
told? Right.
So I don't know if I'm in favor for all of that because that might not be a good thing necessarily. But I'm just gonna leave it right there.
Right.
But they do want the person that is making these accusations, false or otherwise, to be recognized. But the thing is, it puts a veteran in a very a tight financial bind because once
Mm-hmm.
they take your benefits away, it's hard to get them back if you get them back,
Right.
and it will take probably the a good veteran service organization, veteran service officer, probably even a lawyer to help you get those benefits back. Now, to the
Wow.
veteran service organization,
Mm-hmm.
there's no cost, but if
Right.
you have to get a lawyer involved, there's going to be a cost associated with that, and nobody should go there. So I would just say, and I don't want to point out a specific demographic, but
Yeah.
I would
Understood.
think that more people of my generation aren't really out there saying what all they're entitled to, what all they're getting. But there are certain generations that uh, want to self promote, so to speak. So they
Mm-hmm.
think putting this information out there is something about bragging. And I just want to, we talk about renewing our minds, the
Mm-hmm.
mindset.
Right.
DOD is a corporation. Think of DOD as a corporation with its respective branches: Army, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, Navy. Um, and we get hired. And as employees, because that's what we are, we're servicemen, airmen, whatever the case may be, but we are employees, we are entitled to benefits. So if you work for ComEd, which is a company here in the Chicagoland area, and you get
Mm-hmm.
hurt, what are you entitled to? Compensation. As
Right.
veterans, if we get hurt, we're entitled to compensation. So don't hate on us because we're getting paid because we got hurt during our military duty.
Absolutely. It, what I want to go back to a couple of things because this is real good. So
I got to get
what
my tea.
okay, all right, and I'm drinking my coffee. Look, but so what you're finding out or what you're hearing about is maybe the government is not doing a good job at due diligence. They're just taking someone else's word for it, and and that's it. And so what Illinois has proposed, see, Illinois is a great state. I don't care, politics aside, Illinois is a great state. But what I love about this is Illinois is trying to make sure that the veteran is taken care of if accusations are being made and things like that. So I'm hoping that resolution is, so it hasn't passed or anything yet, has it? Do you, that you know of?
No, it has to go to
It,
state, then it has to go to
okay.
national, and then
Okay.
they lobby it before Congress.
Okay, so I'm hoping that that this resolution can get passed because, like you said, someone's dealing with a divorce. Divorces can get messy, things like that, or breakups can get messy, and they're putting in a, what do you call that when it's an anonymous, a tip, whistleblowers. And I guess they're putting in what they call a whistleblower tip, but you have to do the fact finding before you just say, oh yeah, they did it, and I see. So I hope that that resolution passes, and we'll definitely, once it starts becoming more popular, definitely follow that resolution. And another thing you said, right, our generation is the generation of, work your problems out, keep your, what happens in the house stays in the house. And I know for some people that's not a good term, because of things that actually happen in the house. We're talking about the negatives, like, the incest and, and all of those things. But when it comes to your business, especially when you're talking finances, people look at that. And we live in a generation now that, self-promotion, what I'm doing, it's fine for me to share any and everything. And that's acceptable. But you have to, if you hear that noise in the background, that's because we got a busy house today. I'm gonna have to give me an office. we got a busy house today. But what you're finding is that this generation is just different. And people are looking at that, and things are definitely happening. Do you think that go ahead, I'm listening.
No, and I was gonna say, actually, almost lost my train of thought. Yeah, what I was gonna say is, and a lot of the younger veterans that are out that are service connected, you have to keep going to your appointments. So while you out here bragging about what you're getting, but you're not going to your appointments, Uncle Sam is going to start taking that money back. And then you're going to be like, what? So
Right.
make sure you're doing your due diligence. People like in our age bracket, I won't say we're safe, but we might be safer, because once you get to a certain age, the government is like, okay, you're going to be broke forever. So we don't have to worry about you coming in, your
Right.
So
Right.
there's no saving you. Okay. So, but for a lot of our younger veterans, that's just not true. And so we want to make
Wow.
sure that they're able to keep those benefits, until.
Yeah. And so getting benefits, I think you said something to this effect. It's not a flex. It's not a flex. It's something that you earned. And so how do you think we can help the younger generation, see it differently? Because once they start taking the
Kind of
money,
like the example I use.
That's it.
Like the example I use, we have to change our mindset. We have to renew our mindset in that we have to look as we are employees, regardless of what branch we served. And as employees, we are entitled to certain benefits when we are injured. So just look at it as what you're entitled to as getting hurt on the job, and not a flex.
You know what would be good to do? Like, they should have some type, and I'm sure they do, but some type of social media etiquette for these veterans that are out here talking about, I got my 100%. Because I know that, I think it was the New York Post. I want to say it was either the New York Post or the Washington Post. It was one of the two, and they did like this whole big piece on a veteran who was making all these claims, and then they show him jumping in the trampoline, and that's definitely not a good look. But we have to understand that these are veteran benefits. These are benefits that we earn, and everybody is not out here being fraudulent. You might find a small portion of those folks being fraudulent, but that's not the majority. The majority of people who have those benefits need those benefits.
And that veteran jumping on the trampoline, that might be some kind of release for them. Now, if they're doing acrobatics and stuff, that might be a whole nother story. But just getting some exercise in. But you do have watchdogs. You do have people that, I mean, I've heard in the past, not even dealing with this episode, but I've heard in the past where I guess there were people that used to work for the VBA would follow veterans to make sure that their claims weren't fraudulent. And I know people do that in regular corporations too. Yeah. So I don't know. I just feel we need to be a little bit more vigilant on how we discuss what we get in our finances. And there's other things that identify us, and I'm not trying to say, you shouldn't do this. I was a little hesitant. I kept vacillating whether or not I wanted to get disabled plates or veteran plates. And I'm pretty much leaning on the side that I'm not. Because I don't want to be identified as I'm driving down the street as a veteran, because I mean, some people are like, well, that's a veteran, they got the check. And I could just be a veteran and not have a disability. But once you put disabled veteran on your license plate, you're basically telling the world that you're getting something from the government, some kind of financial assistance from the government.
You know what? And I bet folks never really looked at it like that. I never really looked at it like that. Because we shouldn't
have to.
That's true.
We shouldn't have to. But the world we're living in today, we're making ourselves a driving movable target.
Absolutely. And like the government is always looking to see where can we cut costs? Where can we cut costs? Just like recently the Secretary of VA had come out with that. I guess that always existed, that rule. And he wanted to start enforcing it, which could have meant, veterans losing some of their benefits. And so you have to always, especially in this internet age that we live in, self-promotion, you're always being watched. You got to believe that you're always being watched. So, so what would you say to someone? Oh, sure.
So, I mean, this doesn't have anything to do with us directly, but indirectly. Case in point, this past election, right? I hadn't voted yet. I was going to do early voting on Sunday. I was actually getting ready to go vote. I have a text message in my phone. I'm not going to waste time trying to find it, but it essentially said, Beverly, we noticed you haven't voted yet, but your housemate, and it mentioned my housemate's name, has. My housemate got the same text saying, we show you voted, and I'm paraphrasing, but Beverly has not. So who's to say, because that's a form of government, or I don't know what, but who's to say that these type of things aren't happening in our background and how it could affect our benefits? So when they say Big Brother is watching you, he's watching you. Yeah. He's watching you. And more so now, I think, than ever. Or it's just manifested.
And, sometimes, we always want to talk about our First Amendment right. Well, yeah, there's a cost to that. Sometimes there is a cost to that. Sure. Say whatever you want to say. Be whoever you want to be. But guess what? That action has reactions to it. And what we don't want our veterans losing definitely are their benefits, because they want to flex and brag. So if you are one of those veterans out there, you need to scrub your social media posts, because you are definitely being watched. And I just remember there was another proposal about, households that make more than X amount of money. I want to say, was it 250? And I was like, I'm just looking like, wow. Right. They're trying to dictate how much money should be flowing through your household in a world, in a country that promotes capitalism. They want to control, if it's
Right.
government, if it involves the government, they want to control how much, goes in your household. And I guess they, in a sense, if they're giving you money, I guess they feel as though they should be able to do that. I guess they do.
Tell you
But
what to
yeah.
do with it. I don't
Hmm.
understand.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
get it. I mean, I'm just gonna tell the truth and shame the devil.
Yeah.
We know the demographics that are joining the military now, right?
Hmm.
And they're not the demographics that are supposed to make over 6 figures. Okay. So now that you have certain demographics of people joining the military and they're learning how to capitalize on the military, and earn twice, 3 times as much as they did when they were in the military. That's not how Congress, that's not how our elected officials saw us. They still want us to be, in my opinion, like those World War II Vietnam veterans
Hmm.
that are broken and we're just gonna give you a little money to survive. No,
Mm.
baby, it's a new day.
Yeah.
It's a new day.
Yeah.
We're smarter, we're wiser, we're coming out with degrees, not GEDs. Not that there was anything wrong, with the
Right.
GEDs, because a lot of those
Right.
men who enlisted, they had to get a GED to join, or they gave it to them after they enlisted. Nothing wrong with that. But that is still the model that stays in the minds of a lot of our elected officials. It was not meant for us to live beyond, if you will, the American dream.
Yeah. What else did you want to talk about? What else can we talk about?
Ah,
We got a
So
little bit of time. Uh-huh.
I read an
Hmm.
article. I think VA need to give everybody a check, and I don't know. I might
You're right. VA, just cut the check. Just cut the
cut a
check.
check
Let everybody
because
be healthy and happy.
I read an article. I think it was a study done by Mothers Across America talking about MREs. How many of
Meals
us
ready
have
to
not
eat?
eaten? Yep,
Okay,
our
so
MREs.
yeah. Yeah. For those
Yeah.
who don't
So
know, who might be watching it that don't know what an MRE is. Uh-huh.
and they oh, I'm sorry. I'm about to pull something. They did a study of all the pesticides and contaminants that were in these foods. And how many of us, especially our Vietnam War veterans, when all they did was eat
Oh, yeah.
MREs, they lived off of MREs. They found metal in some of these and all these toxins. And this is a segment that has had the hardest time getting their benefits, but they were
Right.
eating this crap. We were
Right.
eating this stuff. So we have to, like as you always say, keep our head on a swivel
We
about
really
what's
do.
going on. And I know in American Legion, I don't think you have to be a member, but there's like a grassroots legislation. You can go on
Hmm.
there and they'll talk about, some of the things that they're fighting for and they're bringing it. And some of our newer, younger veterans, they're exposing new things. Start getting that information out there so we can start getting ahead of whatever, so you don't have to wait 50 years for this to be some type of comp and pen or
Right.
service connected
Yeah.
disability. We need to become more advocates for our needs as we didn't have to deploy. Just being stationed at certain base, we were exposed to certain toxins. And this is a segment that has had the hardest time getting their benefits,
Absolutely.
but they were eating this stuff.
Absolutely. And that's real serious. I think, like you said, just start talking about it. Start getting ahead of the game. How best would you say veterans can do that? I know what I'm thinking, and I'll let you know. But how do you
Well, you know,
how do you think it's best to get involved? You
I
want me
know
to?
we're thinking the same thing. You
Yep,
You need to be a member of a veteran service organization. It's
that's
important.
it.
And the many that you can, if I'm a lifetime member of the American Legion. I'm a lifetime member of the VFW. I'm not a lifetime member of AMVETS, but AMVETS nor DAV, but I'm a member because when these chartered veterans organizations go before Congress, they don't say, oh, Melissa's a member of so-and-so. Oh, Beverly's a member of so-and-so. No, they see that there's over 100,000, 200,000, millions of veterans that belong to these service organizations. And now we have a voice. And if you don't know, less of our elected officials are going to be people who ever served in the military. Not even that they served in the military, their parent or grandparent may not have served in the military. So it's on us. It's on us to get involved in legislation. For those who might feel they have a call to serve from a political level, get in there and make sure you don't forget where you come from. Take care of your comrades. I don't care what branch of service you're in, but I know we're in or are in. But in the Army, we say never leave a fallen comrade.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what area you serve. We have to ensure that we're all taken care of, whether you were voluntold or you volunteered. So get with these organizations, get on their website. If something speaks to you, get involved. Just don't become a member. And to get involved on the legislative side is what's really, really important.
There you go, you guys. I'm always saying it. Now I got my commander behind me saying it. Get involved. Get involved, especially like she said on the legislative side, so you can know what's going on within the veteran community, and you can advocate and you can let us know, because guess what, there's strength in numbers. And like you said, Beverly, and like I always say, we have to keep our heads on a swivel, because it can change like that. And the reason why I always tell young people who are serving, or young people in college that are going to the military, get in politics. Because you made an excellent point when you said some of these people never served. Some of their parents or grandparents have never served, so they cannot relate. Right? And if they can't relate, they don't understand it.
Right.
They might have sympathy or the thank you for your service thing, but they definitely don't understand it. And what does that mean when it comes to benefits and things like that, going on the chopping block or trying to, combine benefits and things like that? Guess what? Well, I never served. I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be okay. And we definitely can't have that. And so that's why we have things like, yeah. Did you want to say something? I just wanted to make sure I didn't cut you off.
No, I was agreeing. I was just agreeing with you. No, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah. And so it is very important to not take this stuff lightly, you guys. You cannot take this stuff lightly, because changes are being made while we sleep. And stuff's being signed at 2 a.m. And we find out about it the next day. But I also definitely want to make sure that we keep our prayers for those military members who are deploying, not only them, to their families. And let's all stay in prayer as they travel to dangerous territory. And guess what? That's it, Beverly. But I'm gonna take myself out the camera. How can they contact you? Do you want me to have them contact you in any way? What's the best way to contact you?
You could contact me at Victor Lima Joliet. So it's Verna L. Jones, 478 at gmail.com, or you can call me at 773-677-8204. If you want information about the American Legion, the VFW, anything. Bottom line, join one of them. Join as many as your finances can stand, because there are strength in numbers, period, the end.
Yes.
And those numbers need to grow. And they need to grow quickly.
All right. So I've got that on the ticker. I've got that 8204. I've got that running across the ticker. I'm going to let you have the last word. I'm going to pull myself out the screen, and whatever's on your mind, whatever's on your heart. Shout out to 478, Verna L. Jones, American Legion Post Tour. Shout out to all of our members there. And I'm going to pull myself out Thank you once again. I
Well,
absolutely love you, Beverly, for everything
just one
you
thing I
do.
noticed in the
What'd you say?
love you too. Just the ticker is VLJ post for after the
Okay, let me
VLJ, the
change
word
that.
post is in there. So it's
All right.
VLJ post 478 at gmail.com.
Okay, VLJ post. All right, let's get it right. Let's get it right. All right, there we go. All right, you guys. All right, I'm gonna let you have it, and then I'll come back in, and we'll both say goodbye. All right, there you.
Like I said, I just think it's very important for people to become active members in any of our veterans organizations. There's strength in numbers, and said earlier, we need those numbers to grow exponentially. So as my information is on the bottom, please get in contact with me. It's not about joining my post, which, we would love that, of course, but if I can get you to a post in your neighborhood, I'm willing to do that, because we really need those numbers. And just want to pray for our troops with everything that's going on. Please keep them in your prayers.
All right, that wraps up another show. Thank you so much. Remember, you guys, Women in Leadership for the month of March. My commander, Beverly A. Fitch from I was about to say VLJ, Verna L. Jones, American Legion, post 478. Beverly, thank you so much. And as always, put up your Shiro cup. And as always, let's just keep the conversation going and keep sipping Shiro. And I will see you guys next week with another person talking about women in leadership. Have a good one.
Hey there, thank you so much for hanging out with us on this week's Shiro Coffee Chat. Don't forget, smash that subscribe button so you never miss what's coming next. And hey, make sure your weekday begins with Shiro Coffee, where we keep the world caffeinated and women veterans celebrated. You can visit us at shirocoffee.com. We'll see you next week right here on Shiro Coffee Chat, and have a blessed week.